Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Virtual Sunlight Championship for Race 3 from Monza. Before we get over to the action, let's have a look at the current championship standings with Steve F1 leading the way, 3 ahead of Art Pal. Bit of a gap then to Demon R in 3rd, Twilight in 4th, Jason in 5th, Conrad and SGP tied 6th, Dave the Harp in 8th, Jimmy in 9th, Formula Gary 10th, SRI 11th, Rich Blues 12th, Bob in 13th, Hay in 14th, and then we've got a couple of non-scorers at the bottom. Now, Monza's known as the Temple of Speed, but will it be the Temple of Disasters? It could be. There's only one way to find out. Let's get over to all of the action. Hello everybody, interrupting this broadcast to bring some information. I've messed up. I've made a big, grave error. Unfortunately, I didn't do an audio check when me and Ray did the commentary, which means Ray isn't on the commentary, even though it was probably his best commentary he's ever done, because he had no idea what had happened in this race, so the whole thing was fresh to him and a surprise to him. So I'm absolutely gutted, but yeah, he's not on the commentary. It also means as well he's not going to be on the G-Spot. And unfortunately I don't have the time to re-record it or edit it. So for this race video, you're just going to have to imagine what Ray says. And you never know, you might be right. Okay, sorry for the interruption and apologies for the error in the audio. But I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. Right, let's get over to all the action. So here we go then, the Virtual Sunlight Championship from Monza. And joining me in the commentary box, it's Raymond. How are you, Raymond? I'm absolutely fantastical. Or should I say, fantastical. So yeah, and the race is not underway yet because, folks, we're back to doing a formation lap. Didn't do one at Le Mans, we explained why at the time, but we are going to be doing one here. And interestingly, Ray, this track is not a particularly long one, it's a very quick one, but I think the formation lap may feel like a very long one because with Demon R being restricted to 100 mile an hour, it suddenly makes the lap considerably longer. Demon R on pole position, Art Pal 2nd place. Who's that in 3rd there? Dave the Harp in 5th place. Steve F1, Steve quite far down actually, in 6th. Yeah, Formula Gary, he's going to start in 9th place. He's going to be just ahead of Rich Blues, who seems to have a logo on the side of the car that I've not really seen before. After Rich Blues, it's Hay and who's that? Oh, quick question for you, Ray. Would you like to have a look at what the time gap was between Demon R's pole position and Art Pal's 2nd place? Isn't it 0.001? Demon R stole pole position by. Although this is one of those circuits where being on pole position may not be the best of places to start because of the slipstream effect. I should mention as well, Demon R is still restricted to not going above the 100 mile an hour. Interestingly though, Ray, he's not using any of his boost at the moment, which could, not boost, I mean hybrid, which could come in very useful off the start. Well, maybe he's just he's worked out how to do the formation lap. Okay, we're going to be coming up to a grey gantry in the distance soon. That is the start of the go-no-go zone. That's the point that Demon R, the leader, can choose when he's going to go. Once he goes, he can't slow down again. There's the grey gantry. Oh, and he's still weaving, but he gets to go whenever he wants. He's gone already. Art Pal's not really been able to catch up. Now the drivers can overtake at the light gantry, and SGP's already taken 3rd place off Twilight. I don't know. I think it may have been close. Into turn 1, and last week we said there could be absolute carnage at turn 1, and there's been nothing. How disappointing. Yep. Artpal, Steve F1, having a look up the inside of David Harp on the pack cam. Artpal very close to Demon R. It's getting busy through the chicane there in the background. Someone got a little bit wide. I thought Artpal was going wide there as they go through Lesmo 1. I tell you what, Artpal's done well to stick with Demon R off the start here now. I think you're absolutely right. Artpal right behind Demon R once again. Now, regarding the strategy, tyres should not be an issue. Keep an eye on the fuel gauge though, folks. I think we're going to be looking at 2 or 3 stop strategies for Monza, which means we're probably going to be looking at around about 13 minutes for the first pit stops. 10 minutes to 13 minutes. But let's not forget as well, we have just done like 3 minutes of a formation lap as it's getting busy around Jason. Jason tucked up behind Gary. This is where they need to make sure they get the braking points spot on, which it looks like they all have done quite nicely. Ooh, Bob was slow. He's not. He's ahead. He's got ahead into the braking zone. It's a nice overtake. I think Gary may have been sharing a bit of slipstream there. Yeah, I mentioned a moment ago that obviously we're doing the formation lap. It's a lap where the drivers can save an extra bit of fuel, so maybe the drivers can push a little bit more on this first stint. We'll have to wait and see. So if we're looking at 10 minutes, we're 5 minutes through now, so yeah. Can he? Yeah, he may have took quite a bit of curb there to make sure that he didn't make contact with Gary. Artpal still up the rear wing of Demon R, and these two have pulled away quite a long way from SGP. Artpal got a bit of a run on Demon R here down towards turn 1, having a look up the inside. Very easy to get your braking wrong up the inside. It's a very dirty line. Artpal not risking any danger. Let's see, that's David Harp's fuel. He's actually got a bit more than the leaders, so he's doing all right at the moment. Twilight in 4th place, though, has managed to... Twilight was 3rd, wasn't he? So he's dropped down to 4th, so SGP got ahead of him, I think. Yeah, he did, off the start. Yeah, Twilight also got a little bit out of shape through the Variante Alta. Sorry, it's the Della Roggia chicane. I've nearly got it wrong. Which was the Variante Alta? Not one of them. Yeah, so Twilight got a little bit twitchy there. Artpal still looking at the rear end of Demon R. But to be fair, it wouldn't be a bad idea at the moment just to follow, wouldn't it, Ray? You can save a bit of fuel if you want. Wouldn't try not going wide. Yep. Oh, there's a big battle going on around Jason still. I think it's Jason, Gary and Rich. Yeah, they're still battling on the pack cam, look. Rich having a look on the inside, Jason going around the outside. So as Demon R and Artpal are about to begin lap 5. And yeah. Yeah, that's all 3 wide on the main straight. This is what we want to see. Yep. Nice move by Jason. Gary was leading these three out to the final corner, but Jason got the run. Rich and Gary were side by side through the first chicane. That's going to allow Hay to close the gap upon them a little bit. Although Rich trying to get past Gary side by side, they go. I think Gary's got the inside line here though for the corner. Just need to make sure they don't get late on the brakes. And Rich did. Oh, I was going to say Gary was nice and cautious on the brakes, but actually Rich was just way too deep, wasn't he? Yeah, it also look he didn't get reset actually. He got a little bit wobbly. He's now past Rich Blues. I'm just trying to think what Art Pal may be doing. Obviously he's gone, it's a strategic time to pit because he had plenty of fuel to keep going. So yeah, I don't know what his plan is right now, but he is going to be getting a big undercut. Question will be, is Demon R, SGP or Twilight or Dave the Harp or Steve F1 going to follow him? I mean, what would you do, Ray? Would you cover him off? Well, Demon R has. Well, I think it's one of those where it's perhaps so early that others may think it's too early. So yeah, the top three definitely didn't pit. Sorry, top five definitely didn't pit. Rich Blues has recovered quite nicely. He's managed to get past Hay, and he's looking at the back of Jason now. Oh no, he's not. Jimmy's overtaking him, and Hay all over Sausage. He was straddling the slippery sausage. Okay, Rich still right behind Jason. I think Gary just got a little bit wobbly on the way into that chicane. Yeah, it's compromised his exit. Jason's got a bit of a run, but perhaps nowhere to go now into the first of the Lesmos. Now, interestingly, Ray, these cars around this track, I did hear that a few drivers were struggling with... Oh, Jimmy, big sideways. Yeah, a few drivers were struggling with the balance of the car, which may seem a bit odd, but I think it's just... I thought that was Gary pulling over, but he's not. He's just trying to break the slipstream. I like it. Rich binned it in the middle of a Ascari. Saw it on the pack cam behind Jason. Dave the Arp's got a run on Twilight here. Is he going to go for it? He is, yeah. Nice move. Oh, no, he's not. Yeah. Wow. Well, he is. Gaggle. I love the way you're going to say gaggle. Cackle. Yeah, so Art Pal's, he's in the pack here, so he's got the jump on Twilight and Dave the Harp. But I mean, to be fair, Twilight, Dave the Harp pitting at this point, that would suggest to me potentially 3-stop strategy. It's a good time to pit. What? Oh, Bob! Oh no! Yeah. Well, that is true. That is true. Well done, Bob. Says Art Pal. But yeah, I mean, that could have easily collected Art Pal. I mean, unfortunately, Bob got all out of shape there, and I think took Rich with him. Jimmy, right behind Art Pal here. Now, see, Art Pal has had a massive jump over Dave the Harp and Twilight. I mean, Dave the Harp and Twilight only just coming through Lesmo 2 now, and Art Pal's heading into Ascari. Which would suggest that Art Pal's going to get a massive jump over the leaders. But with him pitting as early as he did, I think he's still got 2 pit stops to do, Ray. Whereas Demon Arm isn't even heading into the pits yet, and he's still got over a quarter of the tank. Oh, Demon! Oh, it spun it. Turn one. A lovely pirouette, but oh, how to throw away a lead. He had about a 6-second lead, and now it's gone down to nothing. And don't call me Shirley. Oh, dear. Ooh! That's one way to avoid dealing with the sausages, just go the other side of them. But yeah, I think he may have outbraked himself there. But it's like I said, a few drivers were mentioning about struggling a bit with the balance, and yeah, maybe that's what it was for Demon down at turn one, clipping one of the orange sausage cut. I mean, he did have a big lead. I mean, it was a good 6-second lead over SGP. I mean, he's opening the gap up again. But that's going to give Art Pal an extra, 5 seconds on the undercut he's getting? I didn't see SGP's or Steve F1's score. Okay. Steve F1 into the pits. Enough fuel for another lap. Jason into the pits as well. Formula Gary into the pits. Interesting. I'm surprised that Demon R and SGP, but then if SGP's fuel saving a bit, then fair enough. But surprised a bit then that Demon R hasn't pitted, because he's going to get undercut by everybody now, isn't he? Yeah, that he had last people going through the first chicane. Now, Demon R gone through the second Lesmo. Art Pal's up to third place with his fuel. Dave the Art made a move on Jimmy recently, and he's closing in on Twilight. So Twilight and Dave the Harp have swapped places. No, sorry, they were in this order. No, they weren't. Dave the Harp was ahead when they went into the pits, weren't they? So they have swapped positions since then, and they're both catching up to Hay. Dave may want to just be a little bit cautious here, because I think Twilight and Dave may be faster through the corners than Hay. So Dave may want to just make sure he doesn't tag the back of Twilight, who may have to be watching out for a car ahead of him. Yeah, so SGP has got less than a quarter of a tank, but I would say he's probably got another lap of fuel. Oh, it's very busy. Yep. I think it was the yellow car, wasn't it? It was Hay. As Rich Blues. Oh, right, I didn't see that one. I only saw Hay. Okay, so Rich Blues into the pits. So Twilight, Dave Harp definitely got a big undercut over Demon R, as has Art Pal. But let's not forget, Art Pal pitted nearly, 9 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, something like that. So yeah, he's going to have to be heading back to the pits soon. I'm just trying to sort of perhaps work out what may be going on with the strategies here. SGP clearly trying to save fuel. Twilight and Dave the Harp, they've not long pitted, and Twilight's already nearly down to half a tank. Dave just got massively sideways, and as I said, don't call me Shirley. Steve F1. So Steve F1 pitted a lap before Demon R, and he's got a bit over, or a bit less than quarter of a tank gone. I don't think Jimmy's pitted yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy's on a big fuel save as well. But I was trying to work out why Demon R may have gone longer, knowing that he's going to lose the time. Well, one way to think about it, Ray, is if you're doing a two-stop, and normally you'd go 13-13, as this is getting very busy, and SGP in the pits. Go on. Sorry, you were breathing. It sounded like you was going to cut in. Okay, Demon R on the back of Bob now as well, having made the move past Jimmy. Art Pal heading into the first chicane as these guys coming around the final corner. I think Bob is heading into the pits. Yeah, SGP is in there. SGP had 7% of fuel. Gary has got 3/4 of a tank. He's closing in on Jason once again. But yeah, if you were going to do... SGP coming out of the pits. Oh, Gary! Oh! He might have done. I think he had a bit of a Code Brown moment. David R trying to make a move past Hay. Steve F1 has already got that move done. So not only has Arpal jumped Demon R, Twilight, Dave Harp and Steve F1 all have jumped Demon R as well. But this is kind of... Oh, Hayes, he's gone wide. This is kind of what I was trying to sort of get at. If you were going to normally do 13 minutes, by going to 16... Oh, Jason! Oh, the kitty litter is just as horrible in Sweden as it is in Italy. But yeah, so I will get this point out. If you were going to do 13 minutes, by going to 16 minutes, Demon R can now have a shorter stint somewhere, or he can push harder and use more fuel. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Looking on the pack cam, there's 4 cars battling behind Hay. Who's that in the pits? Artpal, 7%. See, we're not in 20 minutes and he's pitted twice. That'd make me think he may have to... He's definitely got one more stop, hasn't he? It is, yes. Wow. Yep, at the same... Oh. You know what? At the same time, Dave the Harper's passed Twilight. I think that may have been down into turn 1 as well. The cameraman's missed it. Also, SGP made a move on Jimmy down into turn 1. So a lot going kicking off there. Let's have a look at how much fuel these guys have got. So Twilight's got what? A third left? No. Three-quarters and full, yeah. Yeah, so... Dave Hart's pulling away from Twilight at the moment. So Dave putting on a bit of a charge. I'm wondering if Twilight maybe he's going into... Oh, I was going to say fuel conservation. That was nearly into the gravel trap. Demon R opening that gap up a little bit. Oh, Art Power having come out of the pits. 3 wide. You got to be brave here. Who's going to make it? Absolutely, and not only that, not just Demon R, Dave Harp, Twilight and Steve F1. I mean, let's not forget as well, SGP, he made his pit stop, he's running in 5th at the moment. Then we've got this battle behind Arpam, which is Jason, Rich Blues and Jimmy on this occasion. Jason and Rich have been having a great battle since the start of this race. Rich got a little bit deep. Jimmy making the move, is he? He's kind of trying, but he's got no speed on the exit of the corners as Hay is into the pits for his... Yes, it's significant, isn't it? Try saying that after a few beers. Jason's got a good run on Rich here, but sometimes the Lesmos just come at you a little bit too quickly. Dave the Harp has his fuel. He's got less. He's got about half the amount of fuel that Twilight had. Can he go another lap? I don't know. Yeah, Twilight's still pretty good on the fuel. He can go another lap or 2, I reckon. Demon R, he's got just over half a tank of fuel. Steve F1, less than half a tank of fuel. SGP, has he made a pit stop? He did, yeah. Okay, Art Pal having made his pit stop. Rich Blue's a bit over half a tank. So Rich has managed to hold on to Art Pal then, as formerly Gary, Jimmy and Jason are still battling for that 8th and 9th place. SGP's back in the pits. Yeah. Well, I think that's exactly what he's done, isn't it? Oh, Rich! What a move! He is! What a move! Oh, and then he nearly pins it. Oh, I feel for you, Rich. It's so easy to get sideways on the exit. That was a lovely overtake. But yeah, I mean, Arpaz in an interesting position here, because if he can't afford to end up off the track, because he's in with a chance of winning this race. But that was a lovely overtake there by Rich. It's unfortunate when he got the power down. Gary's closed in on Rich now. But yeah, SGP, he's just done a very short stint, hasn't he? Because basically he pitted with 7%, filled up, and then 30% later gone back in and filled up again. That would suggest... Oh, yeah, so he went for the extra lap, didn't he? Can Dave get to the end from here? What, we've got 16 minutes to go. After his pit stop, it'll be about 15 minutes. Oh, I don't know. 2% he had. Is Twilight going to pit? No, Twilight's carried on. Steve F1, what's he going to do? Oh. Yeah, he did. Steve F1's pitted. Oh. Yeah, so he'll have a quicker pit stop here than Twilight. Than David Harp. Yes. So he'll close the gap in a little bit. Art Powell still ahead of Rich Blues and Formula Gary, who's managed to break away a little bit from them. So yeah, Steve F1 has jumped David Harp in the pits on the pack cam, and they're coming out next to traffic. Who's that? It's Bob. So Bob making moves. What a move down into... Don't get this corner wrong now, Bob. So yeah, nicely done. Now that may frustrate Dave a little bit, but at the same time, I think Dave's going to need to... Well, Dave and Steve are going to need to do a bit of fuel saving to get to the end here. Demon R, he's still got... What? Yeah, a third of a tank left to go. So, I mean, that would equate to maybe 2, maybe 3 more laps. Could do, yeah, and also he's already called up to Twilight, latched onto the back, going around the outside towards the Parabolica. As on the pack cam, Rich Blues has got Gary right behind him. SGP got Jason right ahead of him. Demonard does go round the outside. So the question then is, when are these guys going to pit? It's now. Ooh. Well, I mean, I agree with you. SGP trying to make a move on Jason, but maybe this is where Demon R's thinking, you know what? He got undercut a lot last time. He's going to get undercut again, isn't he? Oh, side by side, they still are down the main straight. Oh, no, they're not. Well, maybe. I don't know. Oh, SGP late on the brakes. Ahead of Jason. I think SGP's going to try and get to the end, because he's got a massive jump, hasn't he, over these guys, Steve F1, Dave the Arp, who's battling with Bob. There's Demon R. So Demon R has come out right behind Steve F1 and Dave, and I think that's why he pitted when he did. And yes, he could have gone on for more laps, but it'd have been a further 6 seconds behind these guys if he got on for one more lap. Oh, Bob. Oh, Bob's up the inside of Dave. Bit of contact. Oh, and Bob's... Oh, Demon R's off. He's nearly facing the wrong way. Yeah. Bob likes that corner. Oh, Bob's slow on the pack cam. I think he might be. That may have just cost Demon R, well, I was going to say cost Demon R a chance to the win, but to be honest, I think he cost himself a chance to the win when he spun earlier. So, Art Pal is leading, heading into the Parabolica now, but has another pit stop to do, I believe. There's no way he's going 21 minutes on his fuel. SGP, I think, is going to try getting to the end. He did, didn't he? Ooh. Sorry, go on. Sorry, carry on. I was just going to... Rich... Yep. Rich in the pits from second place with 15% of fuel. Twilight now closed in on Dave the Harp. So Demon R managed to jump Twilight before he pitted. But yeah, having a bit of an off. Twilight's now back ahead. And he's closing in on the back of Dave the Harp. Artpal still has a pit stop to do. Rich on the move again. So there's a lot going on in this race, isn't there? Oh dear. Absolutely. Okay, well, things we're going to have to keep an eye on here is Steve F1, Dave the Harp, Twilight, Demon R's fuel levels. Yeah, and Artpal. Well, let's see. Dave the Harp and Twilight pitted a lap before Steve F1, who pitted a lap before Demon R. So, sorry, yeah. At the same time, yes. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. You're right there. Steve F1 pitted before them. No, sorry. Steve F1 pitted at the same time as Dave. That's right. Twilight pitted a lap later with Demon R, or 2 laps later. I really can't remember. But yeah, so... let's take a breather for a moment, shall we? 10 minutes to go. Not a lot. Oh, Twilight! Oh, he so easily could have ended up facing the wrong direction. I think Demon up gone. Well, yeah, that is a factor. Demon R having a look up the inside of Twilight. Can he get the move done? I can imagine Twilight will defend this if he can. Yeah, he can. Nice and late on the brakes. Oh, Bob got a little bit wide. Oh, he's wide again. Oh, dear. Yeah, he's waited for Gary. But yeah, Demon R trying to give Twilight a little bit of a bump. I don't think it's working, though, because Dave the Harp and Steve F1 have just driven up the road and left these guys behind a bit. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. If Artpal's got to pit again, surely it's got to be sooner rather than later, because if you pit too late, you leave yourself too much to do. But at the same time, if you're going to do a later stop and push hard, you need to make sure that you don't pit too soon and push too hard. Because that's the thing, everybody on the track at the moment, I should say everybody, SGP, Steve F1, Dave the Harp, Twilight, Demon R, we know have all got to look after their fuel a little bit. I'll be interested to see what Gary can do from 7th place as he's actually catching up. Oh, pow, in the pits. Pretty cool. Oh, where's he going to come out? I mean, there is a bit of a gap between sort of the front 7 and everybody else. There is a bit of a gap. And that gap's going to get a little bit bigger as, yeah, Bob in the pits. So that's Gary there behind Demon R. So that's where the gap is. Where is Artpal going to come out? Not entirely sure. Demon R still behind Twilight. I'm wondering if this is actually costing Demon R, because Gary is right behind him. He's there, look. That is. Come on. Oh, Demon R having a look up the inside of Twilight. Oh, side by side they go. Oh, Twilight's a little wobbly on the curb. Demon R's going to get the move done on the exit of the corners. Are you asking if that's going to give Gary a chance of sniffing Twilight's gearbox? Scratches, sniff it is, Gary. Okay, Artpal is not in the top 8 yet, so he definitely came out somewhere behind Jason. I actually think on the track map, I think he may be the one going into the... Oh, no. He may actually have just sort of going into Ascari now. It's difficult to tell. There was a sort of whitish looking car. Yeah, behind Rich Blues. I think he's in 10th place at the moment, so not that far away. SGP, though, leads the race with just over 7 minutes to go, Ray. Yeah, normally, even if you say that, it'd be a bit of a fib, but actually, yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so Demon are ahead of Twilight this time. Could Twilight come back at him? Not on this occasion. Gary's still there. Jimmy closing in. Jason closing in. Art Pal has got ahead of Rich Blues. Twilight, how's his fuel? Got a bit over half a tank. SGP, he's got about that third of a tank, hasn't he? He must be in big fuel save mode. Oh! It was that slidey and slippery both. Oh, someone's sideways. I think it. No, I think it was Jimmy. Oh. Arpal was ahead of him, heading into turn 1. Oh, Jason's wide. Someone else was wider, a little bit further back. So behind Gary, there is a battle brewing. That is now Jason and Arpal. As Dave Harp, how's his fuel? He's got that sort of third as well, hasn't he? I didn't see what Steve F1 had, as Arpal is now closing in on the back of Formula Gary. Demon R opening the gap up to Twilight. Oh, this is fascinating. I mean, how many laps do you reckon we've got left? What, we're coming 5.5 minutes? Well, this is the thing. You can guarantee all the drivers are thinking the same thing as Arpal, trying to make the move past Formula Gary. Dave Harp also trying to make... Yeah, go on. Yeah, Arpal has managed to get past Gary. Jason trying to capitalise as well. Dave the Harp's got a bit of a run. Did you see how much fuel Steve had? Okay. Yeah, so I will say, like, trying to work out how many laps are left, you can guarantee all the drivers were thinking the same thing, but also trying to race their car, which means doing mathematics is not easy. So, yeah, anything could happen from here to the end of the race. Is it 3 laps? Is it 4 laps? Yeah, good luck working that one out. Dave getting a bit slid. It is, yeah. He's pushing, but he's down to 1/4 of a tank. And from kind of off the top of my head, what we were seeing earlier, 1/4 of a tank is maybe 1 and a bit laps, maybe 2 laps. So, yeah, Dave may, I don't know, is he going to be in a bit of trouble? I don't know. He could save plenty of fuel behind SGP here. Oh, he's going for the move. Okay, Dave makes the move into turn 1. It's a nice overtake. I'd love to see how much fuel Steve F1's got at the moment. There's still a big battle going on the pack cam a little bit further back, or there was, around Twilight, Arpal, Formula Gary. I think Demon R had about half a tank. Arpal's got a bit over half a tank, so Arpal can really push here as it's 3 wide behind him. I don't think that'll be... I think they all managed to survive just, but yeah. So Arpal's in a position to push. So I'm wondering whether Twilight, he's dropped his pace for the fuel. I'm wondering if he may be a little bit critical on the fuel or unsure about the fuel. Whereas Arpal can push. I mean, with half a tank and... what, it's 3 minutes to go and it's about 1:30 a lap, so technically 2 laps. Yes, I think we may have 2 laps to go. Demon R, so it hasn't got half a tank, he's got a bit over quarter. He's closing in as well on Steve F1. Oh, Gary in the background making a move around Jason, I think. Yeah. Well, SGP had less than all of them, didn't he, with his fuel save strategy, as Artpal still behind Twilight with the pack there. I think Artpal going to need to do a bit of bump drafting, slipstreaming and make the move when he can. Steve F1 got to run on Dave the Harp. And let's see. You know what? It's going to be this lap and one more. I think this is going. Is it going to be 2 laps? No. I'm trying to. Oh, as they're battling here, I'm trying to work out how many more. There's 2 minutes to go. Yeah, and it's 1:38 left. There's one more. Well, Steve F1 pitted before. They were pitted at the same time as Demon R. Dave the Arp. Demon R makes the move on Steve F1 through the second chicane. Artpal, he's got loads of fuel. Someone in there had hardly any. Bob's got loads. SGP. Oh, look at how little amount of fuel he's got. Oh, Demon R's got about double the amount that it had. Steve, come on, show us Steve's fuel. Please, show us Steve's fuel. Come on. Show us. Well, I tell you what, Demon R's... show us the money. Oh, someone's wide. Oh, someone's off in a Ascari. But I was going to say, Demon R is definitely sort of running a quicker pace at the moment than SGP, Steve F1 and Dave the Arp. Demon R making the move on SGP through the Parabolica. I don't think there's anything SGP can do about it. He's ahead. Yep, Steve F1. Steve F1 makes SGP. Can SGP come back at Demon R? He's going to give it a go. Oh, on the back cam, a big move. I don't know if it was a good move, but there was a big move. Demon R's pulling away from SGP now. SGP's in the danger zone, isn't he? Steve F1 with no idea what fuel he's got. So can't quite get it done into the... Oh, SGP clobbering the sausages. Oh, yeah, he's out. Oh, Dave, disaster for Dave the Harp as everybody's coming past him now. Oh, it looks like it, doesn't it? There's a big battle still going on. Rich is off. Jason battling. Artpal's closing in on Steve F1. Steve F1 making the move on SGP into Ascari. Can he get it done? No, he can't, and we still don't know how much fuel Steve F1 has got. As Demon R called this perfectly, he's running off, look. SGP's nearly got nothing left in the tank. Steve F1 going around the outside, is he? Oh, SGP late on the brakes. But has he got the fuel to get to the line? Demon R's going to take the victory here in Monza with hardly any fuel. SGP's got none. He's out. But Steve F1 can't get him. Arpal can't catch him. Jimmy's out of fuel as well. It's chaos at Monza. Oh, what a race. Jimmy holds on to ninth. Oh, Rich Blues. Where's Rich? There's Rich. He's nearly out of fuel. But he's not. He'll cross the line. There's Bob. Bob's got plenty. Bob, could you give Dave some... oh, that's unfortunate for Dave. He's done by 1 lap. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's a shame that for Dave, but wow. Absolutely. I mean, in the end, there was nothing he could do about Demon R. And he only just held on ahead of Steve F1. Artpal, he was close. I think he may be kicking himself. If he'd have pitted a lap before, I think he'd have potentially got SGP and Steve F1, or at least had a chance. Yeah. Well, it's just something I've noticed recently that I'm not sure it's working out the fuel economy right in the pit stop. The diamond that says like how much fuel you need to get to the end. I'm not sure it's necessarily working out right, because I think I did a practice run where it was telling me that I needed a full tank to do like 3 laps, and I was like, well, I know that's not right. But it's one of those things as well. The last thing you want to do is go with a strategy like Artpal did and then run out of fuel. Because if you're going to make that late pit stop, the idea is that you have the fuel. And when we look at it, I think that's why Demon R eventually has come out winner there, because he pitted after Steve F1, Dave the Art, Twilight, SGP, and by doing so, he had that tiny little bit extra fuel that meant he could push on those last couple of laps, whereas the others couldn't. yeah, trying to work out what's just happened. But I mean, 2 laps from the end, the top 4 didn't finish in the positions that they were in. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on in the pack as well over those last couple of laps, but we weren't able to really see it, but that's why we have the pack cam there. But yeah, so a lot going off. Really, really good racing. Oh, I can have a drink now. Oh. Yeah. To the end. Yeah. And I think for the most part, we've sort of seen, once again, much improved driving. I mean, I would always expect there to be a big crash at the first chicane or second chicane at Monza in the first lap. Or in this occasion, the second lap, which was the first flying lap. But no, nothing drastic. And what I liked as well is we saw on quite a few occasions like cars getting 2 wide, 3 wide, but then when it was getting to the corners, sort of slotting single file. So, and I like seeing that, because it means the drivers are trying to maximise the speed through the corners by going single file rather than potentially staying side by side. But at the same time, we've seen some brilliant overtakes, like the one Rich did. Artpal may have more wins than Rich, but Rich still made an overtake on Artpal. But yeah. Okay, quick question for you, Ray. What's pink, wrinkled, and hangs out your underpants? Your legs. Yeah. Well, yours are probably white. Sunlight, what's that? Okay, another thing as well to mention, Ray, is that race result we've just had. So you may not remember, but the current championship standings, I think, was Steve F1 leading the way by a couple of points ahead of Artpal, who was 2 or 3 points ahead of Demon R, who was a few ahead of, I think, SGP. Because of the race result we've just had, I think the top 3 in the standings are going to be very, very close, if not on the same points. But yeah, I do believe it's going to get very, very close. I also know that there is already a couple of reports in, and there is going to be a G-Spot this week. So that'll be out on Wednesday again, I think. Although, you know what, I might do it Tuesday this week, because I must admit, I was sat there last Tuesday thinking, it's ready to publish, but I said I'd do it Wednesday. But we'll see. So yeah, so a couple of things for us to have a look at on the G-Spot. Other than that, yeah, great racing once again. yeah. I mean, this is the thing as well. It's like with the fuel. I mean, you know as well as I do, and many others do. I mean, it's so easy when you're not under pressure to go, well, you know what, it's about 130 a lap, so 2 laps is what, 3 minutes. So with 3 minutes to go, that's 2 laps. But when you're in the middle of a race, mathematics doesn't work like that, because you get to the answer and then you go, but is it? Is it? I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's. But also, not only that, for someone who, let's say, like, let's take Jimmy for example. I think Jimmy was on the fuel save strategy once again. Perhaps tried the one stop. If he drives from the start with his engine on lean and is saving fuel, the in-game calculator of how many laps he can do on that fuel is relevant to the way that he's driving. So if that ends up saying that he could do, let's say, 15 laps, it works out he does 15 laps running on lean. He pits, fills the tank up, the tank says he can do 15 laps. But if he then turns his engine up, he ain't doing 15 laps anymore. He's going to be doing about, yeah, exactly, he's going to be burning the fuel. He may be going quicker, but he's going to be doing 9 or 10 laps. And if you've got 15 laps to go, that's where it's difficult. And I think that's why, in a way, I like the fact in DGT League we are doing it on the time, because if it was, oh, I've got X amount of laps remaining, the calculation's easy, isn't it? You go, that says I can do another 2 laps, and there's 2 laps to go in the race. I'm okay. Now, Dave may wish that we'd done that, and Jimmy may wish that we'd done that, but yeah. And SGP, yeah. Well, yeah. It definitely was. Right, I do want to quickly mention as well, before we go on to checking out the conference race result and the championship standings, that I haven't been updating the merch store recently because I've been busy, but I did get on there and have a look at sorting out a few things for a few people. So thank you to SGP for purchasing his stealth cap. Also, Conrod's had a couple of t-shirts and tops designed for him. But I have seen as well that now you can get key rings and flags, and I am hoping for the meetup that we're going to have soon at Donington, I am hoping to have at least one flag for that. But yeah, so there are quite a few new things. Also, Ray, there's some baby clothes on there, and I was thinking maybe we could get a couple of these baby clothes for your 2 new children that are coming along. And on one it can say I'm number 1 driver, and on the other one it can say not bad for a number 2 driver. Yeah. But yeah, so there is a few new items available on the merch store, and I will try and get a few examples put up available so people can see. Unfortunately, I think I'm limited to like having 20 items showing, and there's more than 20 different items available in the merch store. So even if I showed 1 t-shirt, 1 hoodie, 1 mug, 1 key ring, 1 flag, I mean that's 5 things, and I've only got 15 more slots for the pants, socks, hats, shoes, bikinis, skirts, tank tops, bags, pillowcases, towels, yeah, and all sorts of, yeah, loads of stuff. So if you want anything, folks, just let me know. Right, Ray, thank you very much for joining us on commentary. Oh, hang on, sorry, no, before we go, no, sorry. Next track. Budget. Yep, we were at Monza. No, we were at Le Mans before Monza. Sorry, I don't, it's Fuji with the chicane. Um, yep. Now, although I haven't got the images to show Ray, at Fuji there is 2 gantries that go over the track on the start-finish straight. The first gantry, I will put the images up on the screen now. The first gantry will be the start of the go-no-go zone. The second gantry will be the start of the go zone stroke overtaking zone. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get on with these cars around that particular track. Your thoughts on Fuji in these cars, Ray? Yeah. Yeah, if you get on the AstroTurf and end up spinning. Yeah, I mean, it should be a nice car to drive around there. Hopefully, a car that is raceable as well in that middle sector, and potentially even the last sector. But having said that, I've said it many times before. Do you really want to overtake into the last corner at Fuji? Because chances are you're going to get overtaken down the main straight. But yeah, right. Fuji is next. Make sure you join us for that one, folks. Ray, as I was saying earlier, thank you very much for joining us on commentary. No problem. And we will have a look then at the confirmed race results and the championship standings. Demon R then taking the victory, the maximum 20 points, with SGP holding on for second place. Steve F1 oh so close in third. Art Pal in fourth place. Twilight in fifth. Hay in 6th place but with a -6 point penalty, and Jason in 7th place with a -3 point penalty. I'll get on to those in a moment. 8th place is formerly Gary, with 9th place is Jimmy. Rich Blues finished in 10th, with Almighty Narsh finishing in 11th ahead of Dave the Harp in 12th. Okay, Hayes 6 point penalty. A report was placed by a couple of drivers for a late overtaking move on the start of the final lap. It will be covered in the G spot. It may seem like a big amount of penalty points, but yeah, it's one that it just affected quite a few cars. So a -3 point penalty just didn't quite seem enough for how much he had gained. Information is on the Facebook page for the stewards review as well, but as I mentioned, it will be covered in the G spot. Jason, his -3 point penalty is for knocking a car off the track on the final lap. Again, that's on the Facebook page and will be on the G spot. Now, Jason did have lag throughout the race, so he may not have known it was a situation that occurred. If that is the case, then I'd like if Jason could send me his footage so we could see what he could see. That is, if he could see. Right, as I said, they'll be on the G spot. So let's have a look at what that result has done to the championship standings. Well, things have definitely been switched around here a little bit. Steve F1 still leading the way, but only by 2 points now to Demon R, who jumps up to second place. Art Power drops down to third, now 5 points off the lead, but those top three closer than they were last week. SGP moves up to fourth place on 40 points. He's 2 ahead now of Twilight in fifth. Jason holds on to sixth place on 31 points. And then we've got a four-way tie for seventh. All drivers on 23 points. Conrad, Dave the Harp, Jimmy and Formula Gary. Rich Blues in 11th place on 14 points, ahead of SRI and Bob, who are tied in 12th on 12 points. And then we've got Hay on 9 points with a couple yet to score. That's been race 3 of the Virtual Sunlight Championship. Race 4 is going to be coming soon from Mount Fuji with the chickens and hopefully with my co-commentator as well. Once again, I do apologise for the error in the recording of the audio. Although it may seem like I do like the sound of my own voice, I don't. I do prefer having someone to talk to. Okay, thanks for watching, listening. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody, tell strangers in the street if you like. Watch DGT League because it's always full of action and some bad jokes. Right, have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.